Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Today I'm presenting how Coins Fulcro are applying technology to the evolving demands of the construction industry. Just as a very brief introduction to myself, my name is Nick Haig. I'm a lead BIM coordinator with Fulcro. Fulcro specialises in all aspects of building information and virtual design and construction across a whole range of sectors: hospitals, NHS, Ministry of Defence, retail, residential, office spaces. We also have a lot of experience in modular builds and off-site manufacture and prefabrication. For those who don't know, around about 2 years ago, Coins Fulcro joined forces, and since then my job role has taken a slightly different twist in that I now work with the infamous John Smith, and I say the infamous John Smith because if there's any Revit users out there, you will no doubt have heard of John through the Coins Auto section box. My role now is I work with John to basically develop tools to effectively make my life easier, which is a fantastic position to be in. I'm just flashing up on screen now some of the tools that we have developed, and basically any time-consuming tasks, any day-to-day tasks that are repetitive or where there's a chance of human error, we're applying technology to come up with new apps to be able to basically streamline our processes. Today I'm here to show you the Builders Work tool, which is one of the tools that Coins Fulcro have developed. Builders Work is something that we've seen a great shift with regards to demands from the clients over recent years, and it's down to the main usual factors: mitigating the risk of the fire stopping, mitigating costs associated with the fire stopping, reductions in time and waste, and efficiency in procurement. So what does this mean for Fulcro? On a recent project that I'm still currently working on, we had a requirement for individual service penetrations through all block work and plasterboard walls. We also had a schedule of the opening sizes, and that schedule was also dependent on size, service, insulation spec and material specs, which caused us a little bit of a headache. We massively underestimated the size of the task and the amount of work it was going to take to produce that level of detail within the Builders Work model. Across the ground floor of the project, we had 664 sections, anywhere between 1 and 30 openings per section, with a requirement for individual openings in each and every wall, which had to be cross-referenced against the client's schedule of openings. And like I say, we underestimated the scale of that work at that time. So we set about, with Coins, to develop a new app, which is a plug-in to Revit, to help streamline and make that process more efficient. And this is what I'm showing you today. Just going to go into a short video. The app itself is a plug-in to Revit. And once it's installed on Revit, there is a new Coins Fulcro tab along the ribbon at the top. There's a number of different apps in here at the minute, but I'm just going to concentrate on the Builders Work one today. Under the Builders Work options, we have a flip sections, a create sections, and the Builders Work box itself. Upon selecting the Builders Work dialog box, a new dialog box will open up, and here we can select what family we want to insert into the model to produce the Builders Work opening. For this examples, we've got just a generic round opening and rectangular openings. I'm just going to play that again. We can also set the standard width, bottom tolerance and top tolerance. We've got a tick box to delete existing Builders Work, so you can run this tool multiple times and delete out all the existing Builders Work and obviously reuse again fresh. We've got an option within there to merge Builders Work openings. If you can use a generic opening for a number of services to pass through, we can merge the openings, or if you need a letterbox opening, we can also specify the distance that we want that opening to form. And the best part is we've actually got this set up to work with a lookup table, which we'll show you in a second. So the lookup table is a copy of the opening schedule provided to us by the client. It's sorted by system name, system size. We've set in here the opening tolerances around each service that we need and require, and we also select the family which we want to insert into the model. One thing I forgot to mention is we've also got a for review family within the tool. If any of the sizes in the model are picked up that are not in that schedule, the lookup table, it will automatically put in a for review family, so we can return back to the model and highlight any errors within our lookup table. So once you're happy with all the configurations, we hit OK. And it gives us the option, we can either select individual walls at a time. So if you're just doing one blockwork wall, you can run the tool. Or in this instance, we can select all the model or all walls across the project or zone. Select all walls and we hit finish. Just to give you a bit of information, the tool works with native Revit MEP objects, it works with fabrication objects, and it also works with linked files, whether that be linked IFC, DWG, or Revit projects. The Builders Work tool, just to give you an idea of the time saving this has benefited us, a section around that size, it was taking approximately 6 to 8 hours for our guys to detail, mainly due to the fact that we had to keep cross-referencing against this opening schedule. The Builders Work tool has narrowed that down to just over a minute, which you can see running now. Just wait for that to finish. Okay, so once that's run its course, it pops up with a dialog box. Here it's telling us that it's created 275 openings across 137 walls. There's also a number of errors that it's picked up in the model. Basically, the model that we was working at the time was an elliptical building, so we had a number of services passing through walls at an angle. If the angle is less than 0.3 degrees, the Builders Work tool will force a circular or round opening within the wall. If it is greater than 0.3 degrees, it will provide a slotted opening within that wall, still working to the parameters set in the lookup table. This box also demonstrates any items that we have missed from the lookup table. The example here is there's a general extract duct, 400 by 200 mil. And all we need to do is simply copy that onto the clipboard. We can paste that into the lookup schedule, and the next time we run this tool, that ductwork size will be automatically punched into the walls. Upon interrogating the Builders Work openings themselves, they are a generic Revit family. We can isolate the elements, hide the elements if required, which will give us the actual cutout within the wall, which is fantastic for clash checking purposes. We can also isolate all the Builders Work families, just in case we need to export this to any external parties or subcontractors. And again, because they are set up with generic Revit models, we can also apply view filters. The example we've got here is just a pretty standard view filter set up to determine just by system. So we've got a HVAC, a containment, drainage and domestic pipework system. Oh, apologies, one thing I forgot to mention there, also contained within the Builders Work family, we've pulled through some additional information. We've pulled through the Builders Work width and depth, the Builders Work the wall fire rating, the acoustic rating of the wall. It picks up the actual system, so whether it's a supply ductwork, extract ductwork, what pipework system it is. And most importantly, we also pull through the net area required to actually pack out the Builders Work opening itself, the net area of fire stopping required to fill that hole. This is where we can apply the view filters. This obviously makes it easily identifiable within the model for when fitting out on site and when also producing the sheet files at the end. Just wait for that to run. So there we go, just a very clear example of colours being coordinated, used to coordinate the Builders Work openings themselves. We can also produce a schedule of the openings. Again, because these are generic models, we can tag them however we want. We can also produce a schedule. This example is just sorted by the system and the Builders Work size. And also, quite quickly, we can calculate the net area of fire stopping required across this particular zone. So just total it up at the bottom of the schedule there. Okay, going into a plan view, again, the view filters work exactly the same way. We can also tag from the plan view, quite clearly definable in the plan and great for sheet file production. We can interrogate if any of the Builders Work openings need to be tweaked in size. We can also do that through the standard Revit settings. Going back up to the ribbon, we've also got a Create Sections tool. Upon selecting that, we have another dialog box pop up. where we can select the builder's work section that we want to insert into the model. We can select the section prefix, so whether that's by construction zone, by floor, by level, whatever the project requires. We can also set the gap around the wall. What this does is, when the section is added to the model, it automatically cuts the section down either side of the wall to the gaps specified there. And also when you look in the elevation, it will also trim down the section either side to that specified gap. Again, we will select all walls across the model, hit finish, and automatically the Create Sections tool will filter out any walls where there is a builder's work opening and place a section in the model. So there we go, it's created 52 sections out of 125 selected walls in a matter of seconds. There's no real order to the way the sections are numbered, so you might need to have a little bit of a manual check depending on the preferences on the project. But you can obviously, it's just a general select, it's just a standard Revit section that has been added, so you can renumber these and amend the prefix as and when required. It's just showing that 52 sections has been placed. Also on the ribbon we've got a flip sections tool. This is an easy way to flip the section if required, and it flips it around the middle of the cut point of the section. So no more flipping the section and having to pull it back into place and re-trim down the actual depth of the section itself. When you view the section, you can quite clearly see there that the section has automatically been trimmed down to that 300 gap. So straight away you've got a nice clean cut section looking through the wall. Again, you can apply any kind of view filters that you want, just to make this look nice, neat and presentable. That's just a hatch that we're showing in this example, just for a fire rated wall. Because these are generic models, we can set up tags however we want. This is just a generic tag showing the opening size, but we can also pull through the system, the service, the net area, the fire stopping if required, and also any fire ratings or wall types within the model. And that is about the end of the builder's work tool. As you can see, it's a clear, crisp, effective way of producing builder's work information and be able to get intelligent information out of the model to assist with procurement. That's the end of the presentation. Thanks very much. I will be available on the Coins Fulcro stand at M21 if anybody does have any information or questions that they may want answering. There's a number of tools that we have developed with Coins over the last few months. We will be looking to bring some of these to market. So if anybody wants any more information, please feel free to come and speak to me. And we have also got the Fullmax available on the stand, which is a fully immersive 3D virtual environment. It's a great demonstration tool for walking through the model and flagging up, obviously, information required out of the model. That's about it. Thank you very much.